The Isle of Skye in the Scottish Highlands is one of the most beautiful and visited places in the UK. But why do so many people fall in love with this island, and what's it like to actually live here?
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Willie.
We sold our suburban home and risked it all to live a different pace of life, moving to a 200-year-old cottage in a remote corner of this incredible Scottish island.
Join us and our dogs Jack and Nori as we share what it's really like to take the plunge and live the dream, the highs, the lows, and everything in between.
This week, I'm heading off to the big city as I visit friends in Edinburgh. Join me as I explore the historic streets of this iconic capital city.
And find out if Betty the boat can set sail on the open sea again after Richard and I's intensive repair job on our engine, or if we'll have to bite the bullet and fork out for a brand new and very expensive replacement.
Plus, we share another amazing wildlife encounter as we spot some birds doing aerial acrobatics just outside the cottage.
If you don't already, please do hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with our weekly adventures.
Join us as we continue.
Living the Skye life.
With a 6-hour train journey ahead of me to get to Edinburgh, I stopped in Isle of Skye to get some supplies for the journey before heading down to the platform. This is our closest train station, an hour's drive away back on the mainland. We were running a few minutes late and I had a very quick change at Inverness, so I had to move quickly to make the connection. At Stirling in the central belt of Scotland, I had 20 minutes between trains, so I had time to stretch my legs a bit outside the station. The rain was still with me, but the temperature was already warmer than it was in Skye. I'm about an hour away from Edinburgh now, and I've just stopped in Stirling, which is very strange because I actually used to live here. This is where I lived when I first moved to Scotland. It was about 4 or 5 years that I lived here. I moved to Fife sort of during the lockdowns, and then after that we obviously moved to Skye. Unfortunately, I haven't got enough time to show you much of Stirling today because my train is in about 10 minutes, but it's really cool being back, and I saw my old flat from the train as well, which was awesome. It's very strange. Feels like a lifetime ago.
17:54, service to Alloa. This train is formed of 6 carriages.
I got off at Edinburgh Haymarket, which is the smaller of the city's 2 train stations, and went in search of the right bus stop to get to my friend's house. It's always a bit of a shock to the system to be surrounded by the city, but I do love the change every now and again. While on the bus, I of course spotted a few charity shops that I wanted to visit during my stay. Finally, 9 hours after leaving the cottage, I got to my destination. I was staying with my friend Wendy and her sister Lucy, who is one of my oldest friends from school. We all used to live together back in Newcastle, so it was nice to be reunited, to see their kids, Leah and Rowan, and I was even welcomed by Kiwi the cat.
Okay, Sarah's gone now on our weekend away, which is great for her. And I'm here to do some rock tumbling, well, with you guys. So here we go. The first thing I've got to do is cut some of the rocks because they're too big. It says in the instructions, big rocks, just it won't work. So I'll have to cut a couple down. But the other ones I'm actually going to cut down just to tumble. And I'll cut the other bigger rocks later on as well. So yeah, let's cut these rocks and let's get this tumble on the go. I may have got a bit wet doing that. but it's a wet towel saw, so it's better that than dust. Anyway, that's them cut. Let's have a look. First of all, this that I suspected might be a geode because it had a little tiny bit on the outside. Isn't a geode. I'll do something with it though. I'll cut it so that it sits nicely and displays that later, but that's not getting tumbled now because there's not enough of it worth tumbling. However, these are now looking pretty cool already, but I think they'll look even cooler after they've been tumbled, so I'm going to do that. But look at that, that's cool, eh? The red is just off the tile saw blade, it's not part of the rock. But yeah, that's cool. I'm really chuffed with how that's come out already. So combine that, now they'll fit in the tumbler with all of these, put them in the tumbler and switch it on. Tune in next week to see how the gemstones turned out after our first attempt at rock tumbling.
Last night when I arrived, we had Prosecco and sushi waiting for me when I arrived, which was pretty amazing. Pretty much my perfect evening. We just had a nice chilled out time. And then today, it's really nice and sunny, so we've been out in the park and went for some breakfast this morning. And now we're just walking into town. And obviously just checking out a few charity shops while I'm here. Why not? No changes there. I think it's about 10 to 12 degrees warmer than Skye. So sunny, it's so nice. I feel like I didn't prepare for this because Skye was so cold when I left. I might have to buy some shorts in the charity shop. There are 5 charity shops in Skye that I know about, but I always like to check them out when I go somewhere different, as you get so much more variety in the big cities. I honestly have no idea what I would wear this to, but I couldn't resist the colour. The charity shops definitely got more boutiquey and expensive the closer you got to the city centre. Okay, so I'm currently walking through Princes Street Gardens and Edinburgh Castle is obviously just up there, and repping my Stirling Castle bag, obviously. You can take the girl out of Stirling Castle, but she'll still represent with her tote bag. And yeah, the castle's pretty cool. I used to go there quite a bit for work. I used to go for monthly meetings in the castle here in Edinburgh, so I've kind of done the tourist thing around Edinburgh, so we won't be going in today. I'm actually just trying to find my friends because their map says they are here somewhere. So let's try and find them. Kind of fancy a dip in that fountain actually, but I think that's a bad idea.
Well, it's the moment of truth.
Betty the boat.
It's going back in the water because
Again!
It's going back in the water again because we're testing out the engine after all that work that I did it and Richard did on it as well, both of us. I'm a little bit trepidatious. So the plan is now I'm going to go out with Sarah, keep in touch on walkie-talkies, or phones as they're commonly called.
You're going to take the boat out for a test, do a few zoomies,
yeah,
see if the noise appears, and if it doesn't appear you're going to put it back on the mooring.
That's right, and that's why I've got the dinghy in there. But if there is a problem and it's still making a horrible noise, it's coming straight back out of the water. Fingers crossed, everybody. Good vibes only.
Go on, Betty.
She's in the water.
You can do it, Gail.
It was then I realised I'd left the engine's kill cord on the other auxiliary outboard in the shed, which meant one of us had to run and get it. Oops. I did offer to go, but Sarah doesn't like holding onto the boat, so off she dashed to get it, whilst I held on to Betty in the loch.
I swear the number of times I've run back to this cottage in waders for that boy. It must be love, huh? Silly boy. Willie did offer to run back for it, but holding the boat is actually harder work.
With the kill cord now fitted on the auxiliary engine, I fired it up and set off to slightly deeper water before I could test out the main engine. So I've got to heat it up. Now, let's see if it works, and let's see if it makes that horrible rattling sound.
The other day, Willie noticed a newly fledged swallow sitting on the fence just outside our cottage. I decided to take my big camera out on the track to see if I could catch a glimpse of the adult birds as they swooped in to feed their young. Sunny day in Edinburgh, and it's my last morning. My train is at 2 o'clock this afternoon, so I've got a bit of time to myself in the city, which is really nice. I'm currently in the new town, which is not really new. I think it was built in the 1800s, so it's the Georgian side of town, and this is where most of sort of the main shops are. So I'm going to go to Lush. I've got lots of empties that you can take back to Lush, and they'll give you money off your next purchase, which is quite cool. And then I'm going to go walk around the old town for a little bit, which is where the castle is, so the Royal Mile and the castle and stuff like that. So I will show you a little bit of the old town of Edinburgh. Probably go check out some of the vintage shops down there, get some lunch, and then I'll be on my train back to Skye. And I hope I can take this weather back with me, because this is so nice. Oh, and coffee, because as per the tradition of coming onto the mainland, I had a McDonald's breakfast and they gave me a coffee with milk, which I didn't ask for. So I'm gonna have to go in search of black coffee. Good black coffee, which it shouldn't be too difficult in Edinburgh. It's actually really interesting how Edinburgh was built. I read a book about it, and it's kind of stacked on top of the different layers that were built through history. And this area here, which is now Princes Street Gardens, and the Waverley train station, was actually a loch, I think, originally when the castle was built. And as the city grew, they had to drain the loch and build on top of it. So a lot of the old town, you'll have buildings, and then when they ran out of space, they built on top of those. and then they built on top of those. So it's really cool. You get some really, really historical buildings down the bottom, and that's why it's all sort of higgledy-piggledy. It was busy in Edinburgh, but this area in particular will be even busier in a month's time, when the Fringe Festival takes place. During August, it's hard to move for people handing out flyers for shows on the Royal Mile. This street is famous for its colourful shop fronts and leads down to the Grass Market. Today, it is full of shops, bars and restaurants, but back in the 1400s it was one of Edinburgh's main marketplaces, mostly for the sale of horses and cattle. As it was a Sunday, some of the shops weren't open yet, so I took a walk through the historic Greyfriars churchyard. It's a beautiful, calm place to walk around, although I'm not sure I would like to live in one of the tenements that backs onto it. The cemetery is also where Greyfriars Bobby, a Skye terrier, is said to have stood vigil over his owner's grave for 14 years back in the 1800s. He's commemorated with a statue just outside the churchyard. Just had a walk through Greyfriars churchyard, which is really cool. It's a really beautiful place. And now I'm just going to go back to the Grass Market because I want to go to Armstrong and Sons, which is a vintage shop. It's quite a famous one. And I just want to go for a look around because it's just really cool. And I think that's me done. Get a bit of lunch, get some food for the train, and I'll be back on the Isle of Skye in about 8 or 9 hours. If you're visiting Edinburgh and you go to the Grass Market, I definitely recommend checking out Armstrong and Sons vintage shop. Even if you don't end up buying anything, it's worth it for the beautiful displays of antique clothing. After a lovely weekend in the city, it was time to return to the peace and quiet of Skye Life Cottage.
I wanted to test the engine at various speeds to see if the nasty sound would come back at certain revs. Thankfully, the noise just didn't happen. Purring like a pussycat! I fixed it! Richard as well. Round of applause for Richard. That sounds beautiful. I mean, that does not sound like it did before. It sounded horrible before. Okay, I've got the fish finder running now. I'm in shallow water, by the way. This is the loch, so it's really shallow, which is why I'm not wearing a life vest. I can just get out and walk if I wanted to. I'm just going to try now and see what she's like at top speed. Against the current, I'm going to turn around and go back that way, and I'm going to put it at full pelt. Right. Here goes nothing, folks. remember when I was bringing it in and had it on low revs, it sounded like a chainsaw. It sounds like an engine. It sounds like a two-stroke engine. Which is what it is. Really low revs, no rattle. Oh, and she's got run. Let's go again. Sarah. Hi honey, can you hear me? Yeah, it's fine, it's great. Yeah, I know. So I'll put it on its mooring and then I'll come back in on the dinghy, okay? I'll see you at Landy, okay? No worries. Alright, sweet. See you in a bit.
The engine's working! Yes! So that means I can bring the trailer back onto dry land and we're all sorted, hopefully. Touch wood.
Because there's only so far the Land Rover can drive on the foreshore, pulling the trailer in has to be done in stages. Attaching the trailer rope to the tow bar, driving forward as far as possible, then reversing back and reattaching the rope again, before pulling it forward again. It normally takes about 3 attachments to get the trailer onto solid ground.
For watching our video, we really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please do leave us a like, a comment or subscribe if you don't already. It's free to do, helps our channel to grow, and you get notified when our new videos come out, which is every week, Wednesday night 8 PM UK time.
If you did enjoy the video and you'd like to help the channel further, you can do so over on Ko-fi by buying us a coffee or the dogs a wee treat. And what I really mean is you help with the running costs of making these videos for you every week.
Or if you want to help us out more long term, you can join our amazing community over on Patreon, where you get bonus content for helping us out each month.
If you're interested in our creative endeavours, you can go over to Sarah's Etsy store for our artworks like these.
Music that features in all of our videos, you can head across to his Bandcamp page for songs like these.
These old walls saw 100 lives, from the days of old to these days of mine. I don't mind if the storm hits the night, there's no reason to go outside.
As always, all the links to our pages are in the video description below.
Thanks again for watching, and we will see you next week.
Bye, folks.
Bye, folks. Thank you very much.
Bye, folks.
We're leaving our suburban life, moving over the sea to Skye. Are we chasing a dream? I guess in time we will see, when we're living the Skye life. Living the Skye life.
As always, folks, thank you so much for watching our video. We really hope you enjoyed it. Nori's on the move.
Nori's on the move. Nori's lying down.
Good boy. Good boy. It's here for about 4 or 5 years. I'm in a train station, can you tell?
As always, I forgot what.
As always, folks, thanks for watching.
As always, folks, thanks so much for watching.
Did you get it? Good boy.
Why did that rock tumbler give me a shock?
As always, thanks.
The water ball just fell over and gave me a fright. Go for a sleep.
Big sigh.
Big sigh.
A hard life, isn't it, Nori?
Why is that thing giving me a shock?
Bye.
Bye, focals.
Oh.
Click here to subscribe to live in the Skye Life.
Click here to go back to the start of our adventures with our very first episode.